Hobao 1/8 scale GT. Welcome to the Hobao show. Used to be known as OFNA, but now Hobao. For you older guys like me, you remember the OFNA? Yes. 15, 20 years ago, made a change. No, about 15, maybe 14 years ago, it changed from OFNA to Hobao. And let's face it, Hobao is on the rise in the market, in the world, in the RC class, in the 1/8, 1/7 scale, the drag racing. Hongnor is a derivative from Hobao. That's their exclusive racing development department, like in the GT class, like what I run. So let's get on with this little brief show, and I'm going to explain to you what it's about. I'm also incorporated with RC for Life. That is me. I'm the co-founder of RC for Life and the CEO. Anyway, all right. So the title of this video is keeping or sourcing out parts for your beloved older RC that you want to keep because it is not quite ancient. It's right basically in the new, but not quite the newest toy or kid on the block, but it is new enough to do damage in today's world, and basically the optional world out there, the options, you know what options are, right guys? Carbon fiber this, titanium that, fans, speed controls, anything that's optional parts, and basically manufacture stock parts. So like if you have an aging 10 scale or an 8 scale, and in most cases a lot of 10 scales and 8 scales out there that are from popular brands that were just made tough and they're still around, or you still can find parts from on eBay or even beloved old subsidiary side wholesale warehouses that sell parts for them, like Hobao, the Hobao website. They still sell parts for the OFNA. And so my main focus here is finding parts that are OE, but from other manufacturers that I've used over the years, that are tried, true, and tested, that are tough, reliable, and have a good reputation and a good name behind them. So that way, say if I can't find OFNA or Hobao parts anymore, like I'm going to break it down to you guys. The only thing that I worry about is bevel gears for my diffs, which I have enough bevel gears here, and they're all steel. These are all heavy duty bevel gears. I also have all the stock bearings. I use Acer ceramic ball bearings in there. The bearing sizes for this GT are common with all other GT. They all use what for the axles? I believe they use a 8 millimeter bore axle by 8 by 13 or 8 by 16? Yeah, 8 by 16 by 5. The center shaft, the 8 millimeter spool, like on this. And I have to make a correction on this video from my last video. I was talking about the spool shaft because I'm a one-way spool guy, and I've been that way since I got this car going in late 07 and started competing with it in 08. The OFNA spool shaft, and I say OFNA because it's an OFNA shaft, not a Hobao, is an 8 millimeter bore, right? That's why I'm able to use newer today 8 millimeter bore spur gears or steel pinion gears that I can use as a spur gear. It steps down to a 7 millimeter, right? So that is a 7 millimeter bore, and it's a 7 by 19 by 5. So if I was to use an updated titanium aftermarket, say spool shaft, which I'm really looking into because I like less weight, less reciprocating weight and stuff like that for my drivetrain, I would basically just go with a single straight a single 8 millimeter shaft all the way. I would use 8 millimeter bore drive cups and I would actually have to use the little spacers to make sure that nothing walks. And I could use my gears, and I would, and I've already found them. They are 8 by 19 by 6 Acer, TRB, and the big old ACE 7 bearings. Y'all know the bearings I'm talking about. So if I wanted to do that, I could still do that. But be as it may, I don't think I'm going to have to do that because I have an aftermarket giant 10 millimeter thick, wide motor bracket that accepts 50 mil and 40 mil motors. I know because I used to have a TP. It was a 4070 CM. It was the 32 or the 3200, 3200 kV, which in my opinion is a little too much. Should have been used. I should have got a 27 or a 29. Those are good for drag racing, but I wanted to go fast because that motor I could use 6S and not 8S single motor, and it was longer. And for a GT, it just fit without hitting the suspension arms. So those big old 8 gauge motor leads bending all the way back forward. But anyway, so I can use this no problem, or I can go to an upgraded. So I've been obsessing over speed spools because I'd like to go to a titanium lighter spool. Iron Man from Banana Nut Hobby sells them. And basically it's based off the GTB Hobao or the GTS or the VTE or the VTE2 or 2.0. They all use it's an 8 millimeter bore shaft, just like this one is, but this one steps down to a 7 for the bearings. And my correction from the last video was the drive cups and the out drive cups, right? On this and there, they're all 5 millimeter bore. So whether you're using the standard like that, or you're using the lightened ones, which is a lot lighter even for being hardened steel, it's a 5 millimeter bore. So that speed shaft has a 5 millimeter. It steps down to a 5 millimeter, right? Because that's what they were doing. So if I go to a speed shaft, basically I would just be running an 8 all the way through, and there is a ton load of 8 millimeter bore hardened drive cups. So no problem. I wanted to just fix that little mistake I made when I was talking about the drive cup sizes. I can get drive cups anywhere. I've been looking at Techno because I use nothing but Techno pinion gears because they are extremely robust, tough. I've never chipped one, never pitted one. I've only thrown one because I didn't tighten the grub screw. But anyway, so moving on. Right, that was the old original aluminum GTPE electric motor mount, 8 millimeters thick, the plastic carrier, which is fine. If I want to go to a machined aluminum one, I'll either have to pick an Arma or a Hobao, and the screws are a little wider, so I may have to drill another hole into the carbon fiber just to bolt it. But you know what? That's fine. I just redid all my bearings. I made my own custom full synthetic bearing synthetic oil grease. It's oil, not grease. Basically, it's a half full synthetic Acer bearing oil, right? Which is like too watery thin. But I also use Royal Purple motor oil for my vehicle, which is a very expensive, top dollar, high performing motor oil. And it is full synthetic, and it is 1030 or 1040. So I added some of that to give it a little bit more viscosity, not too water thin, in other words. And then I retook apart all my Acer bearings, took off the rubber shields, and redoused them all. Gearboxes, you name it, all of them. So that is my own custom mix, so that way it won't run out as much, because I put those bearings in 2019 and just figured, oh, they'll last forever. They were screaming. They barely wanted to spin by the time I took them all out, like within the month. I've rebuilt this car at least 6 or 7 times now. I've done a few videos. I've upgraded to the pivot ball rear suspension arms over the stock standard ones with the standard rear hubs for more adjustability. That way I can tune my toe in, and I can also adjust my track width even wider. One thing you want to notice, guys, On GT cars, the track width is always wider in the front and is slightly more narrow in the rear. And the reason is so that way the car will rotate around turns a little bit faster. So I choose to go wider in the rear for more stability, but I'm also using 2mm plus wider Hobao hubs, which is like these, right? Everybody's seen these. You know what these are, these hubs. So I'm using 2mm wider hubs, and then I can also turn out those pillow ball screws, right? And that's how I can adjust the toe in, the toe out. I can straighten it out, or I can bring the wheel out even more. And as you can see, that's where the pins are on the drive cups, evenly on both sides. All right, so there we go. So I explained that. So you basically, what I'm looking for always, and I use OFNA, not Hobao. I'm using the OFNA DM1 hard springs front, and I use mediums rear. I never use soft, and I always have a spare set of yellows for the rear, because sometimes I may choose to put them on the back. This keeps me from having to turn the preload collar adjusters. I like to tune with the springs. I really don't like to adjust the collars unless I'm really tweaking or fine tuning, but I like to keep it all even Stevens all the way around. So what do I have for spare parts? Without jumping around too much, I explained the high-speed spool, what the stock was, what I could use that's newer, bearing oil. I'm always worried about diff gear, so I bought a butt-ton load of diff gears, and these are steel heavy-duty. I keep all the spare bearings. Those small bearings are for the pinion and crown gears. The pinion gear has 2 bearings, right? Those crown gears, they actually are removable off the rear diffs. The new way is where it's just a 2-piece diff, so the crown is now part of the differential housing. But this is the way OFNA did it back then, and those are still available on the Hobao site. So I might have to order some more of those and maybe some more pinions, but I can find them on eBay as well. And I'm gonna order me. I'm just gonna order me a whole bunch of Techno EB buggy outdrive cups. They're lightened, they're hardened, and well, you know, they have the extra material literally cut out instead of you know. See, that's lightened too. When you remove material like that, I can get them like that, or I can get it where it's like a big old hole in there. And that's just to reduce the weight, and then plus a titanium spool will be coming soon. So I'm going to change out all these cups from the old school style heavy to probably these type or the Technos. So finding out what's new, what has a reputable name behind it, like Tough Components, will actually keep your older beloved RC vehicle going for years and years and years. And that way you can always find stuff in the market. I have actually 2 spare diff cases. Let me turn on this my little light inside. Yeah, I use the 13650 times 3 cells, so 11, basically 12 volts. Got my basically everybody has a box full of parts, right? So, you know, second set of brand new rear A-arms. This is the standard set with a typical hub carrier, which has to stay 325mm. With these type, I can move it forward and back anywhere from 325 to 331mm, which really, you know, affects the length of the wheelbase and fine tuning. Spare upper and lower A-arms. I have the Mugen titanium lightweight pillow balls, and these are the factory heavy steels. Arma, you can get them. Arma, Power Hobby and other manufacturers are now making all titanium balls for unsprung weight. I literally have spare diffs from the era, so I'm good to go with stuff that's plastic like that. As far as that goes, always keep spare body posts, spare MP drive axles, CVDs. I like to use CVDs all around, and I can always find these on eBay. And they are anywhere from 90 to 88.5mm in length for the center drive shafts. So I need to order some more of those. Always buy some, standoffs. Those are all titanium. The blue ones are aluminum. That came off my W Toys. That is a, well, that is an exhaust. Not going to work on this, but you know, keep extra heavy duty stuff. Coarse threaded on the right lock nuts for the Hobao rear extended hub carriers, and then we have the Hobao fine threaded nuts for the standard fine thread. Spare giant 8 scale turnbuckles, some Traxxas adjustable rods. That's a spare Lunsford titanium rod and a spare end, because I had a wreck one time and I actually bent a titanium rod and had to replace an end and a rod. So talk about breaking up the pair, right? The band. I got a spare Power Hobby 44 tooth hardened spur gear or high-speed pinion gear if you're using a 5th scale power system. That is a RC Monster. They're not making them anymore, even though it still shows you can order them. It is a 46 tooth. That is a pure GT count by number spur gear. It's Delrin. It's super lightweight. The hub is aluminum lightweight, 8mm bore, of course. It's still good, but I took it off to give it a break to run a 42 for right now. I'm going to try that out with an 18 tooth Techno pinion. This right here is my 4mm. I love it because it will let me adjust the camber and width of the pillow balls. So quick tuning. When in doubt, carbon fiber wrap it. Get some carbon fiber vinyl. The only thing that's carbon fiber wrapped is the rear shock tower. That is aluminum. Everything else is carbon fiber. I took the battery off because I'm going to undo the ESC and move it about 20mm forward, because I have the new SMC battery coming in. I just want to say right now, today is the 25th of November, 26th of November. Their Black Friday sale runs out on their LiPo batteries. The 6500 milliamp HP, the Green Series battery, is 150C continuous, 6500 milliamp. They all come with 10 gauge wires. Hard case, is as good as you're gonna get, unless you get a Gens Ace or a you're going to get a ProTech RC, the saddle packs where you plug in the 5mm plugs. Those are usually 130 amp continuous. The next version above the HP is the Red Series. Those are 120 amp continuous, and I was thinking of getting another 6S battery, but in the 120 amp continuous at 5500 milliamps. So for about $82, $79, I can get that battery. That's not bad from SMC, because you're getting real serious stuff. I demand serious stuff. I look for good prices. Right now, the Black Friday sale is going on. I just ordered mine the other day. The price went down to $63. It was $79. I don't know how long the sale is going to last at SMC. Originally, my battery is $149. I'm used to paying $189. What I paid for these Power Hobby, not graphene, but regular LiPos, 150C, lasted 5 years. I'm going to turn that one into 2 7.4 packs for my nephew for his Traxxas Slash. And he's got a speed control. It probably just pulls about 45 amps at the most. They just can't handle the over 220 amp continuous draw anymore from this speed control. But all the cells regenerate. I killed it, and it comes right back up to like 41%. So I figure that'll be good for his Traxxas, since he has the standard brushed motor and speed control. I'm just going to make him 2 packs, and that should be good enough at 6,000 milliamps, 150C. It shouldn't hurt it. And at the draw rate that his speed control draws for brushed, he'll get the longevity and he'll get the punch of a newer updated battery. But let me see. What do I have that's spare? I have a bag with spare titanium Acer screws, aluminum screws, and a bunch of cut up pieces of 3mm carbon fiber. You need that, an extra light kit. This is a custom voltage up down. Basically, if you want to make your own light system, you put power to it. You can put whatever power to it you want, like a small LiPo or a NIM, like a NIM battery. You can adjust the voltage in, and you can adjust the voltage out and amperage. So it's lightweight. I ordered it on eBay because, yeah, I'm thinking of making a new light kit for the next body that I order. Instead of running these kind of lights on my Audi body, I was thinking of something else, because I'm either gonna go with that Biddy Designs, that HR8 or the R8 body, the 325 millimeter one that I have a video on. I think I showed it in one of my videos here. I actually posted up me recording it. But it's a high downforce body,